And we welcome you back to the Thundercast. We have a very special guest. We have the head coach of Terre North here. It's Todd Woefle. Todd, how are you doing on this fine evening?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Uh, well, well, yeah, it's my pleasure. I'd like to have like all these big. To have all these big names on. All right, so the number one, so question number one is, what do you look forward to as head coach of the boys All Star team?
Oh, well, we had the top 60 Hoosier Basketball Magazine top 60 workout yesterday at Marion, and that was very exciting. Two sessions, top really good players. So I'm looking forward for the opportunity to work with the coaches, the people who run the Indiana All Stars, and also the players because it's obviously the best in the state. And from what I saw yesterday, we're going to have a really good team, and hopefully Indiana can go beat Kentucky twice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that two of my players, like that I managed, like at Plainfield, like the 2 years, like Landon Gilliott and Otis Smith were there. Uh,
Yeah, they both had a really good day. Landon shot the ball extremely well, and Noah was active. He had a dunk at the end of the workout. Two really good players from a
mhm.
successful high school program that have been coached very well, and they had a good day and obviously had an excellent season over there at Plainfield.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Then the next one is, what at Terre North has made you a better coach?
Just a lot of things. I think the older you get, the wiser you get, and you learn from some things, maybe some mistakes you made as a younger coach, and how to deal with relationships that you build with players. Maybe some offensive things, some tactical things that you'd like to do better or change up. Michael Minzer, who is now going to be the athletic director over at Plainfield, he was on my staff earlier, or our staff, I guess, not my staff, our staff, and Matt Wren, and they were able to implement some things. He's a great basketball mind, and we just carried some things over from years, some concepts that are our core values that we stay to, and then be flexible on some of the things depending on our personnel that we want to do at Terre Haute North. But just one thing that's non-negotiable is being a good teammate. And if you're a good teammate and you sacrifice individual glory for the betterment of the team, then you have a chance to be successful. And over the last 5 years, our guys have done a really good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, so the Patriots actually have been to the semi-state like the past couple years like and that's been shown and that's been shown like and you guys got the bid for the Hall of Fame Classic next season. Like I mean I can't wait to see I can't wait to see how you guys do next season. I can't wait to see how that does. Uh yeah, how that Classic does. And I do think that Terre Haute North has a big chance to win it. Like that's my opinion. And then the third one is, how has it been coaching your sons?
That is a great question. That should have been the number one question, probably. Well, this year was pretty special because I had sons on the team. One was a senior and one was a sophomore. So having them both in uniform when we won the Wabash Valley Classic Championship over the holidays, and then a sectional, back-to-back sectionals and back-to-back regionals, to have both of them there, it was special for not only myself but our family because they've grown up in the gym around basketball. And it's the last time, obviously, that they'll be together because hopefully my senior
Yeah.
son will graduate here in a few weeks and go on to bigger and better things. But they're trying to carve their way. They have different personalities. They're not wired exactly like I am, but I know that both of them love Terre Haute North basketball and they wanted to win and do what's best for the team.
Yeah. So with next year, okay. So with the guys leaving after this year, how will next year's prep be? So how will next year's prep be different? Like with losing all the guys like that you are now.
Yeah, well, we graduate five seniors, so they're going to be definitely hard to replace. Our JV finished 17-5, and we have three guys back that were juniors, played a lot as juniors: Tyler Wren, Blake Hammond, and Mason Lloyd, who we expect to step into a leadership role and really provide those things for us. Their roles and responsibilities will change, but I think we have pretty good continuity right now, a good culture going on in our program that we can sustain some graduation, or we can sustain success in the things that we've been doing, and be able to deal with some graduation and still have a successful program.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely that's definitely like the best thing to have like a like very strong JV, like a very strong JV. But I do think like it will be hard. I mean, it will be hard like to adjust to not having Klopp on the team now. Like
Mm-hmm.
since he's graduating, but having those five seniors graduating and only have three returning, like that's gonna be hard to like that's gonna be hard to like to overcome. And uh, like but once again, like I do have to say that Terre North will overcome that and still be a very strong team. Uh, Question number five is how difficult will be uh, how difficult will it be to adapt and adjust to playing in the new Sagamore Conference next year?
Yeah, well, it's going to be different. Luckily, we were able to schedule a few of those opponents this year in Harrison, Lafayette Harrison, and also McCutcheon. And then we'll be Danville and Lebanon will step in there as well. And Terre Haute South and Terre Haute North. Lebanon will be in there for a year. But hopefully, we get to keep some of our old Conference Indiana foes on the schedule with Southport and both the Bloomingtons, Bloomington North and Bloomington South. We'd really like to keep them on our schedule since they are in our sectional. But it'll be different because we're going to go north and we won't see those schools in the state tournament as
Mm-hmm.
well. But our relationships have been good with them so far. I really like the coaches and the players, and it'll be an adjustment, but it's just another opponent that we'll have to get ready for. And they have nice facilities and good players, and we'll have to be ready to go.
Yeah. Then so then the next question like is probably like a question that I've been wondering. How is the atmosphere in the Wabash Valley Classic different than the state tournament?
Well, it's a special time. I think, 4A basketball, you get different type of atmospheres in the state tournament because of the distance
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that you have to travel. Our sectional was at Martinsville this year, so that's about an hour and a half away on a bus. If we would have drawn the Tuesday night game, there probably wouldn't have been a lot of people there. Every game in the Wabash Valley Classic, not every game, but if you stay in the winners bracket and it's a marquee game, that gym's going to be sold out. It's going to be loud. Both student sections are going to be into the game from both schools, and it's the closest that you can get to old school. I'm a lot older than a lot of people, so you can get to old school Hoosier hysteria, where you have the David versus Goliath, sometimes the small school versus the big school, and you can have that upset. So that's what that tournament simulates, because there's some bigger schools in it, 4As, and there's some 1 and 2As, and then three schools that come over from, or two schools now that come over from Illinois also to play. So it's a great atmosphere. It's well attended because it's right after the holidays, and the people around this area in particular really enjoy the tournament.
Yeah. What coaches in the Wabash Valley are the best coaches like to be around?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. Well, let's see here. The good team, Park Heritage won the 2A state championship
Mm-hmm.
this past season. Rich Shelsky's a good friend of mine, and he does a really good job. Joey Hart over there at Cloverdale, he got back in the tournament with the Clovers. They're going to have a really good team next year. They return everybody, and they had a solid year this year. And a post player that's probably going to be one of the best post players in the state, regardless of class, in the next 2 years. And then Sean Neville over at Northview does a good job. They won a sectional as well. We'll have a new Sullivan coach. Jeff Moore is going to retire after so many years, and he did a good job. Linton Stockton won another regional. And there's some really good young teams. North Vermilion's added to the tournament this next season. Martinsville came, South Vermilion trying to make some strides. And just from top to bottom, with you have Casey Westfield and Marshall, Illinois in the tournament. Shakamak, Bloomfield. I'm going to end up leaving someone out. I know I shouldn't have gone through all of them, but they're all good teams. It's a fun day of basketball, or fun 4 days of basketball, actually, for the players. Not so much for the coaches, because it's exhausting with 4 games in 5 days and all the preps that go in. And that's probably why I don't have as much hair. That, and the other question you asked, when I've been coaching my sons. So but it's an exciting tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. Terre North has been a tough team through the years. So the years that you've been coaching, Terre North has been a tough team. What mistakes from a single season do you work on like to be better like the next season?
Well, we've kind of hung our hat on really on the defensive end because in order for us to stay in 4A games when we're playing really good teams, and you can get in grinders, we've had a lot of grinders over the year with Plainfield, and this year both of us were a little different because we could score and had five guys on the court that could score, but a lot of times those games were in the 40s and 50s, and when you get over in Marion County, you're going to have to play a faster style, and when you get in the tournament like we were in the tournament against Bloomington South in the sectional championship this past season, and it got into a grinder. So good teams find ways to win playing different styles. So I think from year to year, we have to find out what our strengths are, our weaknesses are, work on our weaknesses. But when we get in the season, we got to try to stay away from those weaknesses and play to our strengths.
Yeah, that's definitely like that's definitely I mean, that's definitely like the best thing to do. I like stay away from the weaknesses. Focus on focus on the strength, and the one thing that one of my old coaches used to say, uh, just focus on going 1-0 each week or
Yep,
each game.
that's right.
Like
Especially
that's
at tourney time, that's all that matters.
yes, yes. How do you prep the team for games versus the indie teams?
Well, we kind of covered that a little bit. It just depends on who you're playing.
Yeah.
Indianapolis North Central's on our schedule. We know they're going to be super physical to get up and down a little bit. Decatur Central had a great year. They're on our schedule. We played them this year. We've gone over. We were in the MIC for so many years with Center Grove and Carmel and Lawrence North. We played Lawrence North in the semi-state last year. It was super talented, and so you just have to find your core, find what you're really good at, and try not to get away or get out of that. Because once you do, then that's usually when mistakes happen, turnovers happen, and those lead to easy baskets on the other end. So we mix up how we play our man-to-man defense. We're a man-to-man defensive team. We might throw a little trap in, but we don't play a lot of zone unless we're just trying to switch up tempo or whatever, get out and press. We want to create more possessions or maybe a 2-2-1 to slow a team down. But offensively, we usually try to put five guys on the floor that were skilled, that can dribble, pass, and shoot it. And if you can do that, then you become hard to guard. And this past season, that was the best thing about our team. We almost had five guys in double figures, and because they were unselfish and they were skilled and they were willing to do what it took in order to win. So it just depends really on your personnel, how you're going to play, and how you're going to get after it and attack things, and give
Mhm.
your team and yourself the best chance or the best opportunity to win.
Yeah. Yeah. How has scheduling how has scheduling been like been the toughest thing like for the indie teams? Because
Well,
yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Well, what I was saying is like the reason why I asked that is because I know that you guys are in Terre Haute, and it's usually like a long drive like to Indianapolis,
Mm-hmm.
like the other way around. So how tough has it been?
Oh, it's a challenge to schedule where we're at. We're kind of on an island over here, as you mentioned, in Terre Haute, as far as 4A schools go. So it's not a big deal for our kids because we go to Lafayette, which is 2 hours away. We play three or four teams in Evansville, which is 2 hours away. And, we go to Plainfield, that's a little over an hour away. That's
Yeah.
great. Our kids love that. But if you get into Indy area, you go up to the north side, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Our kids are used to it. Now, the difficult part, though, is to get those schools to come back over here and play us. So we have good relationships, and I hope that our program is respected enough that if you come to play at Terre Haute North, that you're going to get a quality of game against a team that's going to play the game the right way. So to me, that is the enticing thing, that we're going to go play a quality opponent, and then obviously we'll return the game and come over to your place as well. Just yeah, we need to have as many home games too as we can
Yeah.
because we spend a lot of time on the road.
Yeah, that's definitely uh that's definitely like one of the hardest things. Scheduling definitely is one of the hardest things as a school to like trying to schedule like the teams like that you want to play, but they don't want to because of either travel,
Yes.
uh like or the skill based, to be honest. But yeah, and then what indie coaches do you think are what indie coaches like do you think like are great coaches?
Oh man, I
Like
don't know
health
where you start
coaches.
on that list. Well, Coach Weaver at Plainfield and I had a lot of battles. I have a lot of respect for him, his staff, the way that his teams competed and played always. So I'm really going to miss him. He had a great
Mhm.
career. I've congratulated him several times, but just competing against his teams because they always played the right way. And you already mentioned that you talked to Coach Lynch at Brownsburg. His teams are just tough every single
Mhm.
year. And to beat them, no matter what kind of talent they have, is always a challenge. And you feel very relieved and proud of your team if they're able to do that. Coach Serber over at Decatur Central is also a good friend of mine. And being in the Indiana Basketball Coaches Association and being older now, I've gotten to know a lot of people over in the Indianapolis area. Coach Osborne at Carmel, I saw him yesterday at the top 60. I mean, the list just goes on. There are so many good coaches, high school coaches in the state of Indiana. And to me, that's what makes it special because the quality of not only the players that we have in the state of Indiana, but also the coaches. So, just I'm proud and honored to be part of that coaching fraternity. It's something you never take for granted and something you got to keep working at every day because you know that other guy's getting better.
Yeah, definitely. What gyms have the toughest environment you've been to?
Oh, there's a lot of great gyms. I tell you what, my team had the opportunity to play in the regional at the Hatchet House 2 years ago, and that environment was rocking.
Hmm.
Uh, then we played at Southport was in our conference, so we got to play at the Southport Fieldhouse, which is another huge field house. I've been able to take teams to Seymour to play there, and then the last 2 years, and also the Hall of Fame was at Newcastle, the world's largest gym. There's a lot of tough places to play. I think anytime that you go on the road in the state of Indiana or anywhere, winning on the road is so difficult, but it's also the best reward you can have. There's nothing better than winning on the road, but it's also the most difficult thing as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Uh, so so then question 13 and 14 like are not
Okay.
like are not Terre North questions. Like
Okay.
they're just coaching questions. Do you think high school basketball needs a shot clock?
Yeah, man, I've been on both sides of the fence on this. When you have the inferior opponent or the inferior talent, I'll back up a couple years ago. Cathedral won the 4A state championship. They had five Division I athletes. Those guys, Jake Davis started for Illinois. Comer, the point guard, went on to have a great year. One of the guys was Michigan State. I don't know where he went now. The only one that they didn't have was a Division I wide receiver who was fantastic. Tibbs, I think, was his name. But anyway, to go into that game, it was a regional game. It was going to take us a while in order to find a quality shot because they were so long and so good defensively. And I didn't have those type of dudes. We had a great team. We won 23 games, I think, that year, but we had to work the ball around in order to get a quality shot. And if you put a shot clock in, that game ended up being 53-47. I don't know if it would have been that close had we had to shoot within 35 seconds. Now, you look at the normal games, high school games, teams usually shoot within that period of time. So if you have a good team, then you can get it done. The great part about not having the shot clock in high school basketball is it changes the strategy of the game. People always say, well, that team's holding the ball, they're spreading out. Well, there's another team out there defensively. So if you don't want that team to hold the ball, then you can have the chess match and come out there and get them. You can come and trap them. You can speed them up. You can do whatever you want. And that's where the strategy is in the game, where you just don't have to be good and you have the superior athletes for 30 seconds and you get under fives. I've never had a kid at Terre Haute North, or not very many kids, where you get under 5 seconds on the shot clock and you can call a ball screen and that guy's just going to go make a play. There's very few players in the state of Indiana at the high school level that can do that and get a quality shot. So I'm kind of on the fence on that. I did vote for it this time. I've been against it just because I think it's coming. So you can either adapt
Mhm.
to that or you can fight it. I still like one class basketball, but guess what? It isn't coming back. So, you can, it's kind of like the transfer rule. I don't like the transfer rule in particular. It works out for some kids, but it is what it
Yeah.
is. So I can either adapt or I can retire. And I like coaching too much. So hopefully it works out in a positive way for the Patriots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So the whole shot clock thing, like in holding the ball, trying to get the defense would do stuff like that was a part of the controversy. Like at the end of the Park Heritage Terre North game,
Yeah.
like at Northview, like I was online, like, and there were a lot of people saying, "Well, this is why Indiana needs a shot clock." Uh, now now I'm on both sides. Like there are definitely pros and cons about having a shot
Yep.
clock, but 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 one of the major things which I am agreeing with you, like if you don't want the other team like to hold the ball, play defense, trap them, uh, uh, and not play soul ball. Like like that's what happened like in the state championship game versus Mount Vernon, like in Crown Point. Uh,
Yeah.
and like they held the ball. Like Mount Vernon did not want to play defense. I don't know what happened there, but uh, uh, I mean that. I mean, yeah, that happened. Then speaking of transfer rule, like this is the next question: how has the transfer portal rule changed the path of high school basketball?
I think it's a lot. We call it the transfer portal, but the portal means, like in college, that you can go get someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that's really hard in high school athletics because you might have one or two guys transfer out, but then you're not replacing them or you can't go get someone else to come back in. So I think in the last few years since this rule came in, we've lost five guys now, two to go play football somewhere else, two to go play basketball. And we didn't lose a kid actually, but he decided that he wasn't going to play basketball. And so that affects the dynamics of your team coming back. It affects continuity. I think it's also going to trickle down to the lower levels. And I hate that because some schools now might not be having enough kids to play JV, or you're pulling JV kids up and then not have a freshman team. We've been fortunate, at the 4A level, a lot of schools still have freshman teams, and you never know when you're going to get a freshman and he might be 6'5" or 6'6", but then it goes the other way. Sometimes parents and kids aren't willing to wait at a 4A school until maybe their sophomore or junior year to be on the varsity, so they transfer out early. I think the jury's still out on the transfer rule. I just don't think that parents and kids realize that it's not about just transferring to play basketball or football or baseball somewhere else. It also changes your 8 to 3:15 or however long your school day is. It changes your classes. It changes your teachers, your friends, who you go sit with, who you sit at lunch with. All those things that go into being the high school experience. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's bad because I know the teachers at Terre Haute North really look out for our student athletes. They're aware of who they are. They can reach out to me if a kid is having an issue. We can get them help. And if you go somewhere else, they might not know you. And then the other thing, as you probably know, and everybody, you don't think about transferring into another school. If you're a kid moving in, if a kid moves from Terre Haute, let's say to Plainfield, and they think that they're good enough to play, that kid that's been there since kindergarten and that kid's parents probably isn't going to welcome them with open arms and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, welcome to Plainfield. We're glad to have you here. Come and take my son Johnny's playing time, who's been here forever. So it causes a lot of problems, not only for kids, but also coaches. Like, how do you integrate these guys and get them together? And at the college level, it's a little different because those guys are getting paid and still doesn't work there sometimes. So chemistry is a big issue, and also taking care of the kid, not only as a basketball player and athlete, but socially, emotionally, all those things that go into being a young person.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like I had to say, I had to say, like there are. like some of the moves like that happened like before this past season, like that probably changed everything like in the whole like in the whole state. Like with the Lampley is now going to Pike. I mean, with the Lampleys going to Pike, Kai McGrew going to Fishers. Like, I mean, he did decent, but there was also some other moves uh, that I could see happen. I mean, there are some other moves I could see why it happened, and some moves I'm like, why did you do that? But I have to agree with you. Like, uh, now I do agree. Now, the one thing that I wish they did was that they made the rule where where you have the opportunity where a month after the season ends up to a month before the season starts, like as a time period, like you can say like as a period of time uh, like to transfer like because there was some in-season transfers
Yeah.
like that university kid going to Carmel, uh, like that one Lord, that one Warren Central kid going back to Warren, but uh, uh, but there needs to be a time like where the IHSA actually halts all the transfers like before the season starts. Like there, like that needs to be the rule where you cannot transfer in season. Like, it, but yeah, I mean that's a harsh rule, but but that needs to be the rule. Then question 15 is from Plainfield alumni, who is also a big IHSA sports fan, my friend Jonathan Stevenson. Is there any expected portal losses or gains for the upcoming season for Terre North?
Oh, gee, man, I hope not. We met with our players after the season was over, and being invited to the Hall of Fame Classic, that's pretty important that we have that core group back. And I don't anticipate, like, we have a pretty strong group coming back. And, the one thing with the new transfer rules are that I meet with our players a lot more than I did in the past, just to touch base with them. Even when they come back from AAU tournaments, I want to know who was in their ear, how they played, just who's talking to them, who's giving them advice, whether they, because sometimes it could be bad advice. And so really monitoring our players and where they're at, where their mood is, and meeting with them, even after summer games, just to make sure that we're good, because sometimes in summer games, they may get the wrong impression. You play different lineups in the summer to try to figure things out. And you don't want kids to get all bent out of shape about not playing as much as they want to in a summer game and bailing out. The one thing about the transfer rule is they could just leave and they don't have to tell you anything. They just pack their stuff and go. So it's difficult. I hope that we'll be able to keep our core group together and keep things rolling.
Yeah, same with Plainfield, but but with the whole like Andy Weaver stepping down thing, like getting a brand new coach, which I still have no clue like who is on top of the list like to get in, but uh,
Mm-hmm.
but but I know that there's talk that but I know that there's talk like our one star player Baker Lands might be leaving Plainfield, uh, like either going prep like or transferring. Uh, now that's just a rumor that I heard, but I mean, there's talk out there. And then the
Yeah.
last question is from Sullivan High School manager Zach Cap Ellett. What's your opinion on the retirement of Coach Moore from Sullivan?
Yeah, I mentioned him earlier in the podcast. That's pretty neat that you
Yeah.
brought that up. Coach Moore and I go way back. Actually, his first year at Sullivan, coach there was my senior year of high school. So that's how far we go back. I actually played and coached against Coach Moore. I don't think people realize that beyond the wins and everything, he is just a really good dude, like a really good guy, and has always been good to me. We had some battles, and their fans were behind the bench, and they didn't like Coach Woefle very much. But Coach Moore has always been professional, not only to me, but my sons growing up. He would always get them Sullivan basketball shirts and see if they would wear them when they were young kids. And then this last year, my son was a senior, and we just had some opportunities to go against each other. But I will miss him on the sidelines because he's old school and he'll get after you, and his teams play hard. But after the game, it's never personal. He was always down to earth. And that's kind of the same way, not only Coach Moore, but Andy Weaver was the same way. Just a really personal guy, down
Mhm.
to earth. So I will miss those guys because they're some of the good ones that are in our game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, that will do it for today's Thundercast. Uh, Coach, thank you for joining, and I want to wish you like a really good luck next season. And I also want to say, like here's to hoping that Terre North does not lose anybody.
Okay,
First and
thank you very
foremost.
much. I
Yeah.
appreciate you having me on. This has been awesome, man. Thanks a lot.
Yep. Yep. No problem. No problem. Thanks for joining.